Oregon State, by the way, is an unlikely unbeaten team that will not have its starting quarterback against a rugged defensive BYU. A life of Mike Riley. We'll show you a day in it coming up.
I was always with my dad. That's why when it came time to thinking about it all, what you might want to do one day, there was no choice for me. I was going to follow in his footsteps, and I think truly today, in a lot of ways, I am my father's son.
Well, another set of Cougars are blocking the unbeaten Beavers this week, but this time it's BYU in Provo with a bruising defense without starting quarterback Sean Mannion, who had minor knee surgery. He's going to be gone for 3 or 4 games. In comes a backup who hasn't taken a snap since 2010, Cody Vaz. Tough debut. Cougars' #1 defense against the run. They allow less than 2 yards per rush. Haven't allowed an offensive touchdown the last 3 games. Ezekiel Ansah, ready to strike down with great vengeance and furious anger. Old Testament style here at Notre Dame. It's a defensive battle on both sides, but Mike Riley is as upbeat as ever. He says you put in Vaz, you call the game the same way. Riley, besides being a really underrated football coach, is a really nice guy. Gino Jahaski visited him in Corvallis, and Gino, who doesn't like Mike Riley besides maybe some Ducks fans?
Well, nobody, Chris, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you remember the worst thing you did as a kid?
The charges were dropped. No comment.
Okay, fair enough. The worst thing Mike Riley did growing up in Little Corvallis, Oregon, was getting caught egging a car. The point is, when we think about the best coaches in the country, we usually think about guys who are hyper intense, dictatorial, iron-fisted. Mike Riley is living proof that you can win lots of games and be a really nice guy doing it.
Most big-time coaches of top 10 teams drive a luxury car to the office. Oregon State's Mike Riley rides a bike.
Hey guys, how are we doing? Good. Good.
The winningest coach in Oregon State football history might also be the nicest.
Coach Riley, he's a calm guy, but he will definitely get his point across, but he doesn't have to do it with yelling.
He never uses curse words or any, foul language, so he might say, oh, Jiminy Christmas.
All right.
Yes, Riley is unconventional. From water balloon fights on the practice field to tennis home run derby to inner tube sumo wrestling.
He's just a good football coach, and sometimes that gets ignored because he comes across as such an easygoing guy, and that's authentic.
Mike Riley grew up in Corvallis. His father, Bud Riley, was a coaching lifer. High schools, the Canadian Football League, 2 stints at Oregon State. His oldest son, Mike, watched and learned.
I was always with my dad. That's why when it came time to thinking about it all, what you might want to do one day, there was no choice for me. I was going to follow in his footsteps, and I think truly today, in a lot of ways, I am my father's son.
Just like his dad, Riley couldn't resist Oregon State. He was a head coach in the late 1990s, took over the San Diego Chargers for 3 seasons, and eventually returned to Corvallis in 2003.
I'm 58 years old now. I've coached all around the block. I've had just wonderful experiences, but I truly feel at home here. I think this is a great place for young people to grow. I don't need anything else.
I think it's a great fit for him, and without question, I think that it would be an awesome place for him to end his career.
The life of Riley is good. Son Matt works in the athletic department as a video coordinator. And Oregon State is undefeated. The only thing missing is Bud Riley. He died shortly before the season began. He was 86.
Oh, I miss him a lot. And I think about him more every day because he walked these same practice fields that I get to walk today. And that means more to me now than ever before. And I think about that a lot.
If home is where the heart is, then Riley's heart is here in college football's Mayberry.
You can go home to Corvallis because they'll always welcome you back. And he's had chances to go to bigger programs that have more money. He's chosen to stay here because he likes the environment. I mean, where else can you ride your bike to work and go home for lunch in 5 minutes and come back?
you can't go home again. That's the saying, but I'm a believer that you can.
Today, Riley and his new quarterback, Cody Vaz, are going to be playing at BYU. Riley told me that Vaz actually pushed Mannion hard for that starting position during fall camp. And Marcus Wheaton, who we saw in that piece, said Oregon State fans don't stress about the switch. Vaz is just as talented as Mannion. Chris?
Not quite as tall, Gino, but that's typical of Mike Riley. He has faith in the next guy. Go get him, even though you haven't played since 2010, haven't thrown a touchdown pass since high school. Against BYU. The Cougars got some issues at quarterback as well, Desmond. Taysom Hill, who had come in the last couple of games, he's a dual threat guy. He's out for the season with a knee injury. So in comes Riley Nelson, who's a little brittle and that fractured back. And Oregon State will hit you. First one to 9 points wins today, maybe.
Maybe a close one like that. I like that Pulp Fiction reference. That was good.
You like Ezekiel? Great,
yeah, I like that. Did Samuel Jackson proud with that one. I think it's going to be about BYU's defense. You look at this defense, they're number 5 in the nation in total defense, only allowing their opponents 229 yards per contest. And they're number 3 in scoring defense. Their goal today is to be all over Cody Vaz. I expect BYU to score on defense and then create several turnovers. I think they're going to give their offense a short field to work with consistently in this ball game. I like BYU to beat Oregon State, but I know that's no surprise to you guys, right?
That's this week.
Keep that streak going.
After Minion got hurt.
Keep that streak going. I look at and I think Mike Riley knows quarterbacks better than anybody, and he's got a lot of confidence in his guy. But it's one thing to have confidence in him in spring game or in practice and then go to Provo against this defense and the way they defend the run. Number 1 in the nation defending the run. Oregon State's probably going to have to be fairly vanilla with their passing game, which means they're going to put them into predictable situations with that passing game. And I'm with Des. On the road in Provo, BYU's defense is for real. I think Riley Nelson getting healthy at the right time to give him enough spark on offense. I'm going BYU, too.
He's healthy for the moment.
Yeah, well, for the moment, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can he do his thing?
Yeah.
Not so fast, too.
That would be a double.
Yeah, double not so fast because Oregon State stops the run and they control the ball. They're looking to go 5-0 for the first time in 73 years, and they get it. Oregon State beats BYU.
There is the In-N-Out Burger in Provo. It's like 3.5 miles from the city.
Oh, see, you should have told me that.
I didn't know that.
You should have told me that before my pick.
Third time.
The burgers are getting it done for him.
You like the overtime rules just at the start of the game. Put the ball at the +25 going in just to give the offenses a little bit of a head start. Kick some field goals.
I think it's going to be that bad, huh?
I think it's going to be hard for these offenses to move the ball. I mean, I know that he's got a lot of faith in Vaz.
Well,
and you think Nelson coming back is a big deal. I don't know. James Lark is his backup. He's a senior for BYU. Just put that name out there in case Riley can't go the distance.
Yeah.
James Lark.
It's not a Pac-12 game for the Beavers. So if they can stay undefeated, that's great, but it's a bonus. They got 2 more games, Utah and Washington, before maybe Mannion comes back. Oregon State doesn't have their quarterback, Sean Mannion. He's out injured. BYU's got a rugged defense in Provo. How do you see that one?
That's a tough one. BYU's tough at home. They got a great defense. Oregon State missing their quarterback, but I'm going to go with Oregon State in this one.
Another good pick. Boy, dodgeball, huh? That's good. I'm going to Oregon State.
He's got them all here.
Yeah, that's the 3 I got.
I'm actually going BYU.
Nice.
I'm going to go BYU at home. The defense with that quarterback that you alluded to, I don't think he'll be ready for this.